Welcome to the Home Downsizing Show. My name is Ben Souchek, your host and the owner and founder of Home Downsizing Solutions. With the Home Downsizing Show, I want to provide you the information and resources to make the downsizing of your house stress and hassle-free. So sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Home Downsizing Show. This is Ben Souchek, the owner and founder of Home Downsizing Solutions. And this week's show, I'd like to continue with the Home Downsizing Secrets book, another chapter in the book, and with a question that I have received hundreds and hundreds of times in regards to if a person is looking to sell a house and downsize or move to some senior living arrangement, is how to prepare a house for sale. So you've decided that it's time to move to a new home or apartment. Then, of course, the thought hits a person as to what do I do now? And in regards to preparing your house for a sale, the first thing is to just take a good look at the house. Not as a homeowner, but as a potential buyer that you want to attract to buy the property. You may want to ask 2 or 3 real estate professionals to get their perspectives of what may need to be done to get the house in show-ready condition. If you have lived in the house for 10 or more years and haven't performed any improvements or major improvements, chances are a retail buyer will most likely see some or a lot of dated aspects to your house. Just because the condition of your house has been just fine for you, it doesn't mean it'll be okay for a retail home buyer. Over the years, I have heard hundreds of homeowners say one of the following. 1, if I update the house, the new buyer will probably just change it anyway. 2, I most likely won't update it the way someone else would want. 3, the buyer is not buying a new house. This house is just fine the way it is. 4, if I put more money in the house, I probably won't get it back out of the house when I sell. And last, 5, if I update the house and do all the things that I'm being told by agents to do, I just as well stay here. One thing I have learned over the years is that most buyers have no imagination. If they walk into a house and don't like the way it is, they will typically simply go on to the next house. Even though some of us know that some paint and floor coverings can make a big difference, most buyers just don't have the vision or imagination to see what can be done, or just don't want to worry about it and don't have time to worry about it. Most buyers want to buy a house, move in, unpack, and live in the house, period. One of the other things that a lot of buyers do is to look at new homes. They see the new paint, the new floor coverings, new kitchens and bathrooms with granite, quartz, or other high-end surfaces and finishes, and then have the expectations that any house they look at or want to buy has to be new, or look new, and have high-end updates. You may not agree with this, but this is the reality of attracting a retail buyer for your house, if you put it on the market typically. All of the home improvement shows on TV these days that take older houses and put all of the high-end updates in to make them look like show homes has only increased the expectations of retail buyers. First, for some basic easy items that can be done. 1, just declutter the house. I'm sure if you're considering selling your house and downsizing, you have heard this numerous times. If you have items such as furniture that are not needed, consider removing them from the living areas of the house. Getting rid of all the stuff that clutters the house will make the house seem larger. 2, depersonalize the house. You have also most likely heard that too many pictures or other items that you have on display in your house may give the appearance to potential buyers that you really don't want to sell. Potential buyers may have a difficult time being able to picture themselves in the home, making the sale more challenging. There's a fine line between making the house too neutral for potential buyers and creating an environment that you don't feel comfortable living in. And it's not enjoyable to live in your house after years or possibly decades of being there, but feeling like it's not your house anymore. Then there are the different levels of updating your house. Let's first discuss the basic updating. One of those would be painting. Probably the one item that can be done to make the biggest impact is interior and possibly exterior painting. As mentioned earlier, a lot of individuals that are considering selling a house worry about painting. Is it best to use colors that the seller, would want, or to just paint everything a very basic light color so the potential buyer can see a blank canvas that they can work from? The second thing is our floor coverings. One common thing I often see is outdated carpeting or other floor coverings. A seller will state that the carpet is just fine or has years of life left. However, if carpet or other floor coverings are more than 5 to 7 years old, even in good condition, most buyers are going to consider it outdated. In the current market, hardwood floors are popular, but they need to be in excellent condition. Cosmetic-like items like lighting, outlets, etc. are the next item. These perceived minor items may not seem important to update, but potential buyers will look at these items and will or will not get the impression that the house is dated. Most of these items are not expensive, but the costs do add up when updating these items throughout the entire house. And there is what I would consider the major updates. The kitchen. If you are expecting to ask top of market or top dollar asking price or a price comparable to other houses that have sold and look new, you'd better have an updated kitchen. Some sellers will say, but the buyer isn't buying a new house. And that may be correct, but if the other houses that potential buyers are looking at have nice updated kitchens, then your house needs to have a nice updated kitchen, or the asking price has to reflect that it doesn't. Bathrooms. The same thought apply as with kitchens. The kitchen and bathrooms are typically the most important rooms in the house that buyers are concerned with and the most expensive to update. Potential buyers look at both kitchens and bathrooms and will either expect them to be in new condition or the asking price to be greatly reduced due to the potential cost to update them. It is not unusual that nice kitchens and bathrooms can sell a house. The roof. Not only will potential buyers look at a worn roof as needing to write a big check that they may not have the money for, but most lenders will not provide a loan on a house that needs a new roof now or in the next several years. If a whole house inspector or appraiser indicates the life expectancy of the roof will only be a few more years, the lender may demand that the roof be replaced before they will lend money to the buyer. The same may be applicable for a buyer getting insurance on the house. If the roof does not meet their guidelines, a new roof will need to be installed before the buyer can get insurance, which goes hand in hand with the lender forwarding a loan or making a loan. The HVAC, or the heating and air conditioning systems. If the heating and air conditioning systems are more than 7 to 10 years old, most buyers will look at these as being outdated or at the very least not nearly as efficient as they would want. Potential buyers will either expect a reduction in the price of the house or expect to have to write a big check for updating these systems within several years of buying the house. Foundations and basements. As with a roof, this can also be an expensive repair for potential buyers if they have issues. If there are any bowing or cracks in the walls, it may scare potential buyers off no matter what the condition of the rest of the house is. If a house inspector or appraiser raises issues of the foundation or basement, this may also determine if a potential buyer will be able to get insurance or a loan on the house. even if you have made repairs to the foundation or basement walls, it may still raise red flags in the potential buyer's mind of what may continue to happen with those items, which may cause them to just move on and look at other houses. As a general rule, if you expect to price your house at or close to the top of market, your house has to be very nice. It has to be comparable with other nice houses that have sold. I've often heard from sellers, well, we met with 2 real estate agents. They told us we need to do this, that, and these other couple things to put the house on the market. But if we do all those things, we just as well stay in our house. Or, I don't have the money or want to spend the money to do all of those things. And, although a person may not have to do the updates or repairs that the agents are recommending, you will have to price the house accordingly if you want the house to sell. One thing you can do is to look at pictures of houses that have sold in your neighborhood to determine how updated they were, to get a better idea of how your house would compare to them. Another statement that I have heard hundreds of times is, I think I can just update the house with new paint and carpet, and it'll be fine. I typically wouldn't necessarily agree with that thought process. Or a seller will ask, what are the items that I really need to do because I don't want or can't afford to do everything that should be done? When considering what updates to do or not to do, I usually tell a seller to either do everything or do nothing. If potential buyers walk into a house with only some updates done, they will immediately see the items that have not been updated or repaired and wonder what other issues or problems they're going to have to deal with if they buy the house. I learned years ago that even if a house has new paint, new floor coverings, new kitchen, and new bathrooms, but doesn't have updated lighting or other small items, those items are the first thing that potential buyers will see when they walk into a house. When most of the house has been updated or repaired, but some things haven't, a person's eyes are naturally drawn to those old, not updated items. And if a potential buyer sees that the house looks nice cosmetically, but has old windows, an old HVAC system, or etc., they will wonder what other shortcuts a seller took with updating the house, or what other problems may be hidden from them. So, if a house is priced to reflect a nice, updated house, it better be nice. Otherwise, the price of the house needs to reflect its current condition to give potential buyers a reason to be interested in it. If a house that needs updating is priced as if it were updated, most buyers won't comment on it. They will just move on and look at the next house on their list. And this concludes the information about how to prepare a house for selling if you want to put it on the market. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call at 855-291-5005. If you would like a copy of Home Downsizing Secrets, just go to homedownsizing-secrets.com. Or, again, you can give my office a call at 855-291-5005, and we'd be happy to get a copy to you. And as always, if you are considering selling a house and moving to senior living and would like assistance with finding a placement agent, a moving company or move manager, or if you are considering or would like to consider selling your house but to remain in the house and rent your own house so that you are familiar with the surroundings but would like to get your equity out of your house, again, just give me a call at my office, 855-291-5005, and we'd be happy to help you in any way that we can. Thank you very much for listening to this week's Home Downsizing Show. Have a great week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Home Downsizing Show. For additional information and resources on home downsizing, just go to homedownsizing.blueprint.com That's homedownsizing.blueprint.com. Or if you're ready to sell your house and downsize, just go to homedownsizing solutions.com. That's homedownsizing solutions.com. And if you have ideas to improve our show or topics that you'd like us to cover, or have any questions that we can answer, just call our office toll free 855-291-5005. That's 855-291-5005. Thank you.